Hello and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my series on slow travel. This is actually the final episode in the series and I do hope you've enjoyed it and you've got some insight into my thinking about how slow travel works and how it can benefit, well, how it benefits me and how it may benefit you. And I absolutely don't think this is the only way to travel and everybody should travel the way that suits them. But I'm hoping I give you just a little bit of thought about a different way to fast travel. But today we want to talk about, can we save money from slow traveling? So let's start with transport. So we all know it is super expensive to get flights nowadays, especially long haul. Yes, you can get some good bargains if you're doing like Ryanair and some of the other what do they call them, budget airlines, and you're going like to Europe or something. Yeah, you can get some good deals until you start putting luggage in, and then the prices go up. But if you want to go long haul, or you know you want to take luggage, it starts to get expensive, doesn't it? And now when you go, so if you're fast traveling and you're going like taking planes all the time, like every few days, or planes, trains, buses, whatever you're taking, if you're taking, that's a cost, isn't it? That's a cost you've got to factor in for every few days. And if you're going on holiday from the UK and you're only going for a couple of weeks at a time, of course you've got a flight there and you've got a flight back. Now, when you're slow traveling, in an ideal world, you would take one flight to a region and that would be your expensive flight and you'll stay there for 1 to 3 months. So you'd have no other transport costs. You'll have local transport costs, you know, if you might hire a car or you might take a bus somewhere, you might take a grab taxi somewhere. You'll have local costs, but you won't have a flight anywhere. So you'll be paying for one flight a month and hopefully your second destination won't be too far away. So it won't be like 2 expensive flights in a row. But rather than paying for flights, multiple flights in a month, you're only paying for one. That's a big cost saving. And it's a huge cost saving because, as I say, flights have got really expensive in the last couple of years. Every time I look, they seem to shoot up a bit. It's madness. You really have to hunt now for the good deals. And that's another good thing actually about slow travelling is you don't need to be fixed to any particular date. So when I'm looking for flights, I start with Google Flights and I start with there really to get an idea of the price and which airports they go from and where it goes to and how many changes there are and what airlines do it. Because this is the thing, you want to know what airlines are flying. The other good app to use is Rome to Rio. They've got a website and an app, and just put in there how to get from one place to another, and it will give you the flight information and usually gives you the best option, but it's another one to look at. I don't book through these sites, so Rome to Rio is a booking.com affiliated site, which I think it always was, but it is now. And Google Flights will sort of link you with all different like agents like booking.com, Expedia and things like that. But I don't book through them. What I do is I gather the information on the flights and then I go and look on the airlines themselves because quite often they've got different times on there as well. But then you can get like a real price. So when I went to Kuala Lumpur, it was actually cheaper to book direct with Qatar Airways than it was on Google Flights. And it wasn't a bad deal that I got worth doing that. Also, if you have credit cards and they have links to booking on site. So if you have like I have an American Express link to British Airways and I can book flights through their portal and I can get a discount from doing that. So you may have something like that. Anyway, just some little tips there. But basically you just want to find out what airlines fly where and then start searching those individual ones and then see if you can find it cheaper through like Expedia, booking.com. But generally I think they tend to end up being cheaper going direct with the airline. So yeah, so get your flight. Now, if you're not going to be doing many flights in a month and you're going to stay in a place, you're going to save money. That's number one. But number two, and I think this is the biggest one, is accommodation. So if you're going and you're going to keep changing places, or you're only going for a couple of weeks, you're going to be paying hotel costs or an apartment cost. When I'm staying for a month or more, I tend to go with Airbnb because you get a discount on most places. Not all places, but most places will give you a discount if you're booking for a month or more. And sometimes it's substantial. It's like 50%. I often tell people that are going somewhere for 3 weeks and they're booking on Airbnb, I always say to them, did you check the price for 4 weeks? And they go, yeah, but we don't want to go for 4 weeks. I said, no, that's not what I asked you. Did you check the price? Because I bet it's cheaper than 3 weeks. And it is. I said, because you can always leave early. And then they end up booking it for the 4 weeks and getting the discount. Only thing to be careful with, especially in some Asian countries, is if it's a month, and do check and do email them and ask just to double check that it still includes your electricity and your Wi-Fi and your water, because quite often if it's a month cost and they're giving you the discount, they're expecting you to pay the electricity. But it's just one thing to mind out for. But in general still, if you're booking for a month or more, you are going to get a discount through Airbnb. And that will be quite substantial. And it's a lot cheaper than booking a series of hotels for 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, and keep moving on. So yes, you can save quite a lot of money from slow travel. Now, the other way that you save money is that you are more likely, not always, but you're more likely to get yourself an apartment if you're staying long term, because they end up being cheaper if you search, and also you want a little bit more homely comforts, don't you? It's not much fun living in a hotel for months at a time. And if you're in your own apartment, you can cook for yourself. You don't have to go out and eat in restaurants all the time. So you can save yourself money by going to the supermarket, buying what you need and cooking for yourself. Also, and I find this a lot, if I'm staying somewhere long term and you go wandering around for your walks like you do and getting lost like I do a lot, you find all these little gems that are off the tourist trail. So all these restaurants, and you know when they're good because they're full of locals, and you go in there and they don't cost anything like the tourist prices. And so you could save so much money just by finding these lovely little local places. So either you're shopping or you're eating more local, and you're just saving money. And then there's some other little things you save money on, like even things like your eSIM cards or your physical SIM cards, because they're always cheaper if you're buying them to cover you for a month as well. Every little thing is just like the longer you buy it for, the cheaper it is. So can you save money by slow travelling? And yes. And is it expensive? I don't believe it is. But I also think it depends where you go. So I was living in Chiang Mai, Thailand for nearly 2 months, and Kuala Lumpur for 3 months. And I was living for under £1,500 a month on my accommodation and living expenses, going out, all of that, not including my medical bills there. But that's what I was living on. So it was actually cheaper than what it cost me to live in the UK. Antigua was quite a lot more expensive, even though I got a good discount on my apartment. It's an expensive place to live. Hence, I haven't been able to go back because I need to save us more pennies to go there. But, some places are going to be cheaper and some aren't. Asia is generally going to be a little bit more cheaper than a lot of other places. But can you do it? Absolutely. Could I travel fast for £1,500 a month? No, I doubt it. I really doubt it. I don't think I could even get accommodation for that in most places. You know, if I was like going to different places and trying to book a hotel for 1 week or say like 4, that I don't think I could do. I could keep within that budget at all. And that's another good reason for slow traveling, is it helps with my budget, but it helps with my sanity. So that's my views on that. And that brings us to the end of my slow travel series. I hope I've given you some insights and some food for thought. And, you know, as always, if you slow travel or you fast travel and, you know, you disagree with anything that I say, I love to hear all your comments and your thoughts, because everyone's way of traveling is valid. And we just have to do what's best for us individually. And if you thought that you can't travel because it's exhausting, then here's an alternative way where you can live and travel and not spend a fortune and enjoy it while still seeing the world. This is the choice that I make, and my style of traveling, it suits me. What suits you? I really appreciate you following me on this series. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to catching up with you all soon. Take care. Ciao.